Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bold You, a show that was designed to help each and every one of you out there to play bigger in your life. And I tell everybody it always starts with how you think. You've got to think bigger first, and then the actions will follow. We want to help you become bolder, which means you do have to step out of your comfort zone. You got to do things that you don't even believe you can do because you can do it. We are limitless when we want to help inspire everyone to become the best version of you. The world needs you playing bigger. We live in a world where there is a war between good and evil, and the only way evil wins is when good, amazing, wonderful, great people like yourself, when we're just not doing enough. So each week, on Mondays, we have an incredible guest, and I'm so excited for our guest today. Her name, I'm just going to say, AKA Helen Madden, is here to the show.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Put that leg up, Helen. Put that leg up.
I love it.
She's a joyologist at heart.
Yes.
But her real name is Ronnie Rohde. She is a dear friend of mine. She is in the mastermind that I facilitate. But listen, you've got a heart of gold, and that's what I love so much about our topic, which is follow your heart. We're going to get really deep. And what I love about you, Miss Ronnie Rohde, is you just let it all hang out.
That's right.
You let it all hang
No
out.
stranger to fun here. No stranger to fun.
But you're also so transparent in your journey and your story, and that's why I'm so excited for you to share everybody. Let's dig into Ronnie Rohde.
Right.
Miss
I'm
Ronnie
telling
Rohde.
ya.
Tell us a little
and
bit about
I am
yourself.
honored, so honored to be a guest on your weekly podcast. The guests have been amazing. I've learned a lot from them, and just happy to be here.
Okay, well, let's dig
Yeah.
right on in to Ronnie Rohde. What was the childhood of Ronnie Rohde like?
Childhood was awesome. We lived in a small house, one bathroom, family of five. I have two younger brothers, and very loving, generous, kind, give the shirt off your back parents. And I feel like I had a wonderful childhood. It was great.
Now, are you the only girl out of the five kids?
Well, there's three kids. I
Oh,
am
okay,
the only
okay.
girl.
Okay.
I am the only
So
girl.
did you get the first dibs on the bathroom? That's what I want to know.
I had to set up shop in my bedroom is what went on so I could curl my hair when I got older. And there was always one rule, if it's okay to say, live. You never lock the bathroom because somebody might need to throw up. So we don't want anybody throwing up in the house. You go straight to the bathroom. You know better. So it was fun.
Well, one of the things that I know that you and I have talked about is just how when you were younger, you didn't really follow your heart, so to speak, because you kind of had some self-esteem issues, like a lot of kids have, and like a lot of adults have, even to this day. But a lot of people don't even want to be that transparent and talk about it. So, the topic is follow your heart, and I believe to follow your heart, you have to be real and authentic to who you really are, and sometimes you don't even know who you are. So kind of talk
That
to us
is
a little
true.
bit about that aspect in your childhood and how that impacted and shaped you.
Well, I will tell you, I had this red, red, red hair and white, white, white skin. People today say, I can't see you with red hair, but I'm telling you, I was the redhead.
Now, do we have a picture of you with the red hair?
I think there's an old family photo, and you will get tickled seeing our family of five. I believe I was about, 10, 11, 12. I'm
Right.
not even sure, but just the red,
Okay,
there
so
I
there
am
you
in the
are.
middle.
There
Oh, my
you
goodness.
are. So how old are you there?
I'm 8 years older than my youngest brother, so I'm guessing 11.
Okay,
I'm
so-
not even sure, but look how white my skin is. I could fade into a piece of paper.
So as you grew up, you got that red hair, you had the freckles, and you just didn't feel as attractive as obviously you feel now. And then the fact you had your mother was beautiful, you said.
Yes, yes. And I even tell my daughter today, who I think is beautiful, I said, I never, ever thought I'd be as pretty as my mother. I just looked up to her. She was beautiful and kind and giving and funny. And I always wanted to mirror that as I got older, And she took really good care of her skin back then.
And well, we got a picture of her too, don't we?
Well, we do.
We got a
do.
picture. Okay, okay. Now,
Oh.
which one is Mama?
Okay, my mother is on the far left.
Yes.
And I know some of you ladies out there might remember that old hairdo from the 70s. my mother was no stranger to Aquanet. You
Hey,
know?
listen, my grandmother loved Aquanet.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean, was that the very first hairspray?
It might have been
Okay, if anybody knows that, or I've got Brady, my son, in the audience over here. Maybe he can Google that for us. Was Aquanet the very
Aquanet.
first hairspray?
So the funny thing is that photo, Jens, was the Elvis Presley concert. My mother and two of her best girlfriends were ushers at the concert.
I was going to ask, why are they all dressed alike?
Oh, they had white go-go boots. They looked amazing. And that was just really one of the funnest highlights, I think, of her young days.
So it's growing up. You know, I admire you for where you are right now in your life because I know that you have grown tremendously, especially really over the last 3, 4, 5 years. But you're no stranger to success. You're no stranger to big, amazing, great things. You have an MBA in business.
I do. I
And
do.
so, but when did that journey of, okay, I want to follow my heart, I'm really not following my heart? When did you realize I'm not aligned? The things that I'm doing in my life isn't really what I want to do. I mean, how did that process really just unfold for you?
Well, I got started after I got my MBA, which is a huge accomplishment. I paid for my own college, worked hard as a waitress at the Holiday Inn to make ends meet.
Well, where did you go to college?
I went to Tarleton State University in Stephenville, and I think it's the greatest place on earth. I'd move back there if I
Are
could.
you would?
I mean, I really would. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, and my husband and my son hunt out there. They've got a deer lease and got other family out there. But after I got my MBA, I was still at the Holiday Inn, and I thought, I've got to get a real job. You know, I've got to put this master's to use.
Right.
So I started interviewing, found a job in radio sales, and the owner of the company met me and he said, let me just tell you, this is a job that takes a lot of patience and a lot of consistency. And do me a favor, don't quit in the first 90 days. And I thought, what a bizarre thing to tell somebody, don't quit in the
Right.
first 90 days. Well, trust me, I wanted to quit in 2 weeks. I thought, this is hard, knocking on doors and asking people to buy something you can't smell or touch.
Right.
You know, air. So what turned into a great long career for us,
Okay.
for me.
Well, now, but even before you got your MBA, you were in high school, or maybe if I misread this, you were in theater. And
was.
I mean, believe me, anybody that knows Ronnie Rohde knows that she normally has a little fake little
I
cigarette.
nearly brought it today.
She normally has a little
brought my
fake little cigarette in her hand, and she's all about just fun. I mean, that's just who you are. So, and at the core, that's really a big part of who you
It
are.
is.
So how did you go from that to getting into the world of business and getting into
Mm-hmm.
radio?
Well, I was a theater major in college, and what happened, all my other grades started slipping. And I thought, listen, if Days of Our Lives is going to discover me one day, they're just going to have to discover me in other ways. I've got to get a business degree. What's the fastest way out of this place, really? I wanted
Right.
my paper and I wanted out. But I loved theater and I loved acting, and I really wanted to be a soap opera star.
Right.
I'm secretly thinking of so I could smooch the men of daytime TV. I was not married then, I can say that. So, but anyway, my daughter told me the other day, she said, Mom, if you really want to be an actress and on TV, you should put that mastermind stuff to use.
There
you
you
could
go.
do it.
You could totally
I
do
could,
it.
I could.
You could totally do it. But is that your heart?
No, how am I going to help people?
Because that's really your heart.
It really is.
So when you were in radio, do you feel like that you were able to help people in that
I
field?
was actually, because when you're working one-on-one with business owners and they're spending a lot of money, I would treat each client as if that was my $10,000 or $20,000. Would I feel comfortable spending it that way?
Right.
So I loved helping businesses. But what happens, fast forward, you get little kids, you feel like you should be at home, you've got a little mother guilt going on. We've all been there. And so we were in a position, my husband has a successful commercial real estate career, and I decided to throw in the towel and retire. So in 2012, I retired from radio. And I thought, I don't even know what to do with myself. I have all this time. So I start watching soap operas and eating bonbons and hanging out.
And you know what? And that was, I'm sure, before the day of social media, because if social media would have been there, I have no doubt you would have been tweeting
Yeah.
at all of
Oh,
the
yes.
all of the stars, the soap stars, and I think you could have got a role on Days of Our
Well, I
Lives.
could have. See, we can't rewind. We can
No,
only go
no,
forward.
but you can still do that now, Ronnie Rohde.
I could. I'll tell you. So what happens with watching TV and eating potato chips? I do love me some chips. I gained 10 or 12 pounds, and I thought, what's going on? This is not me. I've been the same size my entire life. And
Right.
so at that point, I took it to the next level, and I got really interested in fitness and health and wellness, and locked arms with a business partner today who is, like a sister to me. And so from there, I started helping people lose weight, and I ran accountability groups on Facebook, and just really seeing people light up from losing 10 pounds or 15 pounds and seeing their skin get good. Because we all know good skincare comes from the gut.
Exactly.
You got to get your gut right to get good skin.
Well, exactly. And I know this is going off topic a little bit, but that is 100% when you see these kids and even adults when they've got the acne and they've got breakout, you do have to examine the diet because
That's right.
what you're putting in your body, as I have said all the time, heals you or kills you, and you can
Yes.
see it. And even I have friends that are physicians. And I have a really good friend of mine that I went to graduate school with, and her dad was a physician. And we were actually at her house for dinner, and there were about three of us. And when this one guy that we had gone to graduate school walked out the door, her dad said, that young man is very ill.
Oh.
And we were like, how do you know? How do you know? And he said, because of the color of his skin. He desperately needs to go get a checkup because something is wrong with him. And lo and behold, I do not remember with his issue, but he was in the hospital. He ended up in the hospital for 3 months. It was some major medical, situation. But the doctor, her dad, could tell just by the color of the skin. So you really can tell a lot about somebody's health by their skin.
We sure can.
So, but you at the core of who you are, following your heart is helping people. So you kind of stumbled into, that, and we all know that, listen, you are your biggest asset.
Right.
And you got to take care of yourself. And of course, there's a little bit of vanity that goes into
little bit of vanity.
a little bit of vanity that goes into taking care of yourself. But you get to a certain age where it's not about vanity; it's 100% about health and your quality of life. So when you were helping people lose weight, how did you do that?
Well, we started by eliminating certain foods from their diet, and I had a list of no-nos.
Well, give us that list because I know there's people watching right now that
Well,
want that list.
First of all, no sodas. Don't drink your calories. Stay away from juices, acidic foods. No coffee creamer. Get rid of the coffee mate. No margarine. What are some of the others?
But we can have butter, right?
Oh, butter's fine. I'll tell you what broke my heart was giving up mayonnaise.
Oh,
Now, I'll have me some mayo today, but back then when I had to be the proof of the product, I
Right.
had to give up my mayonnaise.
Well, one of the things, my undergraduate degree is in health and wellness, and you talk about following your heart, and for me, I'm the same way. I love people, and I love to help people, and I believe with all of my heart that each and every one of us has a special gift and a special talent, and they're not given to you just for you. They're given to you so you can share and help. And another thing I say all the time is I can't help everyone. Ronnie Rohde can't help everyone. You can't help everyone, but we can help the people that are attracted to us and that come into our lives. So that was one of the things that we did too, is we would say once a week, eliminate one thing. You know how some people are like, oh, I don't want to eliminate everything. But if 1 week you eliminate sugar, which I have no doubt that's one of the things you would tell them to
Well,
eliminate.
certainly.
1 week you eliminate the sodas. 1 week you eliminate the mayonnaise. And you just keep doing that. Before you know it, you're within 8 weeks, you've eliminated 8 items that really make a big deal on the bottom line.
and no sweet and low, no artificial sweeteners, and no corn. That was
No
a
corn?
heartbreaker. No corn.
Man, I had corn on the cob last night.
Well, I tell you, Thanksgiving rolls around and my family members say, "Are you bringing that corn casserole this year?"
And
No.
well, listen, there is some good corn casserole, but
Oh,
tell them why no
yes,
corn.
yes,
Tell them why
yes.
no corn.
You know what? I'm not exactly sure.
No.
I don't know if it has to do with the holes or the natural sugars in it.
Well,
know?
what about cornbread? Can we have cornbread?
Listen, you're pushing the limits, lady. You're pushing the limits. But what's funny is, as a kid, this is what my family finds so entertaining. We were the Snickers and the Cheeto house growing up.
I
So
know. That's what when I read that. So it was hysterical because that's exactly what you said. Ronnie said, our house was always a house everybody wanted to come over to because we had junk food and we had
Yes.
sodas.
We had sodas.
But that's how ours was too, because back then people didn't know how damaging these foods were. They didn't remember.
And you didn't abuse it. You would just, you'd have some Cheetos with your sandwich. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on Miracle Whip and bologna and cheese sandwiches. My mother even made fried Spam, if you can believe that.
I did
with some
too.
gravy.
I did too.
So she was a decent cook. She had 3 or 4 things that she made. But so when I had to change my way of cooking and shopping and all of that, it was a really big transition. And I think my family really was, what is she doing? How is she doing this? But I felt better.
So, did you intentionally, do you recall intentionally saying, here's my journey and here I am, a stay-at-home mom. I know that I love helping people. I know that I want to add value to people's lives. And I know that, listen, I got out of shape and intentionally, this is part of my heart. I want to help people live better health-wise. Or did you just stumble into it?
I stumbled into it. I really didn't think that this was something that was going to take me onto a career journey and something that I love doing. And you're right, we can't help everybody. But I love it when someone will message me privately and say, "Hey, can you help me with this?" Or "I saw what you were doing with so-and-so and they lost 12 pounds." That recognition and that gratitude was so much more than a big fat paycheck that I
Right.
was getting in radio. Now, I didn't want to walk away from that big paycheck now. We like the big money.
That's right.
But, sometimes you are rewarded more by helping others, and that's where I was at that point.
One of the things that I say also is there's 3 pillars of development. There's personal development, there's professional development, there's legacy development, and sometimes we have to use our profession, our job, our career, to pay for our legacy and to help people and to give back. And then there's some of us that are fortunate enough and blessed enough that whether it's all the karma in the world, it's just that all of the planets aligning, or we intentionally plan that we're getting paid to help make people's lives better, and that's our heart. And I think that there's a difference, because I think sometimes somebody might look at you and say, "Oh my gosh, Ronnie's following her heart. She's getting paid to do that." Albeit she stumbled in, and then she made that realization that this is what her heart is. But I think people need to realize just exactly what you said. Sometimes you don't get to follow your heart and your career and it's the same thing. But you can still follow your heart, but it's not your career.
Well, true. You can follow your heart with your philanthropic, support.
Right.
I've locked arms with a couple of different charities, like the Fortress Youth Development Center in Fort Worth. What an amazing place. And the work we've done with our mastermind, we
Right.
support groups, and it feels really good to be able to do that.
Oh,
and
you
if
got to
you're-
give back.
If you're not making money, you can't give back.
No, you can't. And I do think that we have a responsibility to be financially abundant. We have a responsibility to make sure that our bills are paid. We have a financial responsibility to make sure we're not in debt. And because when we are financially sound, we are able to give back more. We are able to follow our heart. We are able to do the things that we feel we should do. And it is challenging sometimes to be able to follow your heart when you don't have the financial means.
It is hard. And a lot of times you look at your life and you think, what else can I do? And you've said this to us numerous times, we're meant for so much more. God developed each and every one of us to be something huge. And if you're not feeling like you're doing something huge, you may want to take a step back and ask yourself, what can you be doing differently to help yourself and help other people?
Well, and that's one of the questions I was going to ask is, so you stumble into the health, the wellness aspect of it. You start helping other people take control of their bodies and their lives and their weight. And I always say that if you have the discipline to control your physical health, you have the discipline to control your emotional health. You have the discipline to control your money and finances. And listen, if you have discipline in one area, it means you're going to be able to have discipline in all areas. You just got to focus on that, right? But when did the light bulbs come on for you? And you have that moment where you're like, this is what I was born to do. This is my heart. And then how did you go deeper? Because I know you have gone deeper.
Well, at first I thought I was just kind of dabbling, having a good time, helping people a little bit at a time. And then you just really have to be open to other people's ideas and suggestions. I've met people online who've helped me. One of my best friends, Karen Johnson, she introduced me to the best nutraceutical line. So my supplement line is amazing. Had I not met her on social media, I probably wouldn't even know about that. Again, and my business partner, she did some research for about 8 months and she found a very strong company in health and wellness. And she said, we've got to look into this for our clients. And it's water. So, we need water to survive. You need oxygen, you need water, you need sunlight. And so...
I feel like we're a plant.
Well, yes, we're a little plant. But anyway,
that's what it made me think.
So the long and short of it is we've added this element. I call it medical grade water. I'm not going to go much deeper into it than that, but it has helped people with a variety of diseases, from cancer, diabetes, acid reflux, my kidney stones. I had a health a preventative body scan and checked out like an Olympic athlete, he said. I thought, could you put that on paper, please? I really want to take credit for that.
I think you should have put it on paper, and I think you should have videotaped him saying it.
Well, actually, I go back and see him tomorrow for my 3-year follow-up.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
You should have him on your show. He's amazing, Dr. Duncan.
I would love to have him on the show.
He is awesome.
But talk more about how important the water you drink and the quality of the water you drink, and even the importance of water, because I know everybody knows that. And then also, how much water should we be consuming?
Well, to start on consumption, you should minimally be drinking half of your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you drink 50 ounces. If you weigh 150, don't get me doing math on live television. No. So I try to minimally drink 75 ounces of water a day.
I'm going to do the same thing then.
I'm
going to do what you do.
You've got to get your bottles ready, and that's what I do. I mean, I invested in these glass bottles, and so I get all of my bottles ready.
Because glass is better than plastic.
Glass is best. If you're drinking reverse osmosis, just stop it right now. It's very acidic to your body.
So when you say that, what does that even mean? Reverse osmosis? I don't even know, Ronnie.
Reverse osmosis water, and there are a lot of health people that I follow that even still believe in it. It strips the water, your source water, of all contaminants, but it also strips it of the minerals that your body needs.
Okay.
And so what happens is if you're drinking that, it's stripped of all minerals. Once you put it into your body, that water has memory. So when you drink it, that water is going to go find the calcium, magnesium, potassium. It's going to rob from your bones, your teeth. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be one.
But where do you even get this reverse osmosis water?
No, you don't want it. There's people that
I know.
have it. What
I want to steer clear from it. So, do they sell it like that?
You get it from a machine.
Okay.
So, what I recommend to everybody that I come in contact with, not just sick people, not just athletes.
Not just crazy folks.
Not just crazy people, and not just good-looking people either. I mean,
Okay.
it's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
It's for
This
everybody.
is for all peoples.
So this is alkaline ionized water. It's antioxidant. It's restructured so your body hydrates at the cellular level. And you know you've got to protect your cells. I mean, the free radicals are crazy out there, even from our cell phones and microwave ovens. So this
Do
water,
you stand by the microwave or no?
do you know I step around the corner
I
just
knew it.
like you know
I
it.
know it.
When I push start, you know, there are people that don't even have microwave ovens anymore because they're not good.
Well, and I don't. We have one. I don't normally use it very much because I'm not a big cook.
Right,
so
right,
I
right.
don't do a lot of
What
cooking
about-
of all.
Well, you don't drink coffee either, do you?
No, I'm not a coffee
Okay.
drinker.
I heat up my coffee. I lose my coffee cup and
Uh-huh.
and then I search for it and then I heat it up. But I do step around the corner when I push the microwave.
My dad does that too. I mean, I remember, I mean, vividly remember when the microwaves came out. And he would, he would go all the way out of the kitchen. He didn't even want to be around it at all. But listen, he was on to something.
He was very on to something. I remember when we bought our first microwave, we put bologna in there and cut slits in it. Do you remember watching the bologna puff up? I mean, that was so entertaining to us. We're glued to the microwave. I'm sure getting eat up by free radicals.
With your
and didn't know it.
with your soda
Had
in
our
the
Coke in one hand, Cheetos in another.
right in front of the microwave.
That's right. Well, I went to my dad's or my parents' house not long ago, and he said, well, Shug, can I get you a Coke? I said, Dad, I don't drink Cokes. I haven't drank Coke in over 5 years. So
Wow.
now,
No, I'm not that
occasionally-
good. I'm if I want a soda and I just am craving it, then I'll just go get a little drink of one. I don't ever drink a full one. I just don't. But I don't deprive myself, but it's rare. I don't really drink a lot of soda.
If I slip just a little bit, my son, if he gets a drink from Whataburger or Sonic, yes, my kids are normal. They eat the fast food too. I'll say, give me a pull off that soda pop. You give me one drag off of that Dr. Pepper right now. Anyway, he's like, just get your own. I said,
No.
absolutely not. I do not condone drinking sodas. I can't buy one. That would not be right. It wouldn't be setting the example, you know?
So with the water, that's really where you're focusing most of your attention now,
Well,
correct?
it really is.
Career-wise.
Career-wise, yes. And as a matter of fact, a lot of it I do face-to-face, belly-to-belly, and I sample the water, and your body goes through a pretty heavy detox depending on how toxic you are. I mean, I had flu-like symptoms and things like that, but boy, once you get over that hump, you feel amazing. The energy, my husband had acid reflux really bad for years, and he is a different person now.
Is he?
he's
Does
a
it
different
change
person.
people's personalities?
I cannot say that it does. I can't. Now, it would change your personality if you were so sick and miserable and mad at the
There
world and
you
not
go.
nice to people, then
Exactly.
yes, we can say that
then
it
that
can
it would
change
change
you.
your personality, because if you're walking around, and this is what I think is amazing, and I worked for a hospital system for 10 years, and I was in health and wellness during that time. And, when people are walking around, you could be walking around with diabetes right now and you don't know it. You could be walking around with high blood pressure right now and you don't know it. You could be walking around with a disease right now and you don't know it. And it's because people are used to feeling that way.
That's right.
I've exercised, my whole entire life. My dad was a professional tennis player. We saw that example in our home. So listen, I'm one of those, and you're probably the same way, that if the stove is hot, somebody doesn't need to say, don't touch the stove, Jens. It's hot. You're going to get burned. They just have to say, don't touch it. I'm not going to touch it.
Right.
So when I learn and when I read and I have role models and examples, I meet people like you, and listen, you tell me this is how much water I need to drink, and I just accept that. I don't resist certain things. And I think that as you go along this journey, that's one of the ways that you can figure out your way quicker, is just by, I think you said it earlier, be open. Be open to what other people see for you. Be open to other people's feedback, because when you're resisting, you're not going to go very far.
And if you feel like you're not a people person, with the usage of the internet now and social media, you can run a business full time and never even leave your house or your laptop. And so part of our focus now is really getting engaged with the internet and helping people that we may not ever meet otherwise. So it's just really, really something that we're passionate about. We've seen the healing that other people have gone through. We don't make medical claims because that's not right.
Right.
But
Well, I know. And you know, what's sad is there's pharmaceutical companies that make medical claims
yes.
that they shouldn't either.
well, what's funny is on the flip side of that, it's if you take this, you may have these thoughts or
Oh,
I mean, the
Listen.
side effect list would blow me away
I know.
to take something.
I think about that all the time. I think about when you're watching those pharmaceutical commercials and they tell you, a list of 10, 15, 20 side effects. Why would you want to take that product?
No.
I mean, and that's one of the things that you even say is, listen, because of a personal experience that you've had in your life as well, you try to steer clear from pharmaceutical prescription drugs as best
Yes.
possible.
Well, and to go back to that, my mother has had a strong battle with prescription drugs, and at first she didn't feel like it was a problem because her doctor prescribed them, but she didn't take them as prescribed. So it's just it's turned into something really bad. And what I look at is her physical appearance today. I mean, 2 years ago, it was as if people started asking, did your mother have a stroke? Does she have Parkinson's? I mean, there's something different. And I'm telling you, it's these prescription drugs
100%.
that destroy your body. They'll kill you.
Oh, yeah.
They will kill you.
Well, and to your point, if you take prescription drugs for a long period of time, it starts to have side effects in other areas of your body. So obviously the natural way to take care of yourself is always the best way. Always, 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 always.
And I'm not saying all prescription medicine
no,
isn't
obviously.
good.
And sometimes you have to have medical intervention.
Yes,
100% for sure.
absolutely. So that doesn't apply to everybody across the board.
Yes.
It's if you abuse what you're supposed to be taking or if you take someone else's medicine.
Right.
I used to tell my kids when they heard the term doing drugs, I said, sometimes that just means you're taking somebody else's medicine that wasn't prescribed to you.
The kids are selling Adderall to one another.
Yes. They find stuff in the parents' pantry. They probably don't know what it is. We need to put X-Lax in the bottle that says Adderall and see if we can play a joke on them, right? No.
I think that might be a good idea, Ronnie.
Right.
And let's videotape that.
Let's do. We're still supposed to go to the grocery store and do impractical jokes.
Yes,
on
we're going to
people.
do that. We're totally going to do
That's
that.
right.
So we're going to plan that, and that will be some of our Laughter is the Best Medicine video. But
Yes.
before we get to our Laughter is the Best Medicine video for today, which is a clip that Ronnie Rohde chose, and it's hysterical. Let's go to our Ask Jen's question, because I think I want to know your thoughts of
Okay.
this as well. But our Ask Jen's question is, how do I follow my heart? And number one, I think it's so important that you're honest with yourself. Don't think about what you think other people want you to do, want you to be. Don't put on those external really wants and desires from other people. Be honest and authentic and true to yourself, and really say, what do I want? What do I love? What am I passionate about? What does make my heart sing? Number two, surround yourself with people that are going to build you up, support you, and help you accomplish really what you want to accomplish. And number three, never quit. Mm-hmm. Make the decision right now that you're going to follow your heart as far as it will take you and as long as it takes you, because it is a journey. So, Ronnie, what do you think?
And I agree with what you said. Surround yourself by the right people, because as you know, part of your mastermind group, I have been a member for over 2 years now, and it has really changed my life. I have people telling me all the time, there's something different. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's something different. And surrounding yourself by supportive people can make a huge difference when you have fears and you're not confident enough to jump out there and really do what you want. Follow your intuition. I used to call that just your gut instinct. If your mind and body is telling you to do it, then just don't question it. Just do it.
That's right.
And don't ask for permission.
Well, one of the things we're going to do, and I don't even know if I've told you this, but I'm going to start also supplementing the podcast with mastermind moments. And the reason for that is because I think it's so vitally important for people's success that you have to be in an environment of love to grow. And so many people, they don't even love themselves. They're at a point where they've just been beaten down in their lives, and they don't love themselves. And if you're not in an environment of love, and if you're not in a group where there's formal, like we are intentionally growing,
Oh, yes.
we are intentionally doing things, it makes it very difficult to do. So please, if you are interested, we're going to be sharing more of what we do in our mastermind in an attempt to be transparent, to be honest, to help more people grow and become the best version of you. And I don't think you can do that without laughter.
That is right.
One of the things Ronnie and I love so much is we love laughing.
Right.
Every day, my goal is to have one of those just gut-wrenching laughs where you're crying, you can't talk, you can't speak because you're laughing so hard. And, so we like to end our podcast with the laughter is the best medicine. And I'm going to say this, and listen, if for some reason, if you're watching live, you're going to get to watch it, and it's amazing. But if for some reason Saturday Night Live cuts this and they don't let us do it, we'll have to cut this out, and we'll put something else up, but we'll tell you what the laughter is the best medicine. And listen, I am going to say that if you kick your leg up and down,
It brings joy. It brings joy.
it does bring joy. It brings joy. It makes you laugh. It's hysterical. And I think you got to do that. I think you've got to have that physicality and doing crazy, silly stuff every once in a while to make yourself laugh. So Ronnie, I want to say thank you so much for being on the show. And you actually have a gift for everybody. An ebook, don't you? You have something.
I have an ebook that is free to let you know a little bit more about the water if that's something you're interested in. Can they get in touch with me with my email?
Absolutely. Say it online, and then we'll put it in the comments.
We'll put it in the comments. It's my name, Ronnie Rohde, ronnie.rohde@gmail.com, RONNIE.ROHDE@gmail.com.
And we will put this in the comment box.
Yes.
And I hope that there was at least one nugget that you can take away from the show today, whether it is following your heart, whether it's realizing that maybe you're not quite there yet, maybe it's you need to be more of a joyologist, or whatever it might be. We, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to the Jens Johnson YouTube channel. That is Jens with a G. I like to say it's Jen with an E and an S, you know what I mean? Or sometimes I say there's just two of me. So please share this. Let us know any topics that you would like, or if you've got a potential guest or you'd like to be a guest on the show, please contact me at jens@jensjohnson.com. And until we meet again next Monday, be big, be bold, and most importantly, be you. Bye-bye.